Hey there, I'm digital anchor Brandi Smith, joined by KHU 11. We had a conversation yesterday, kind of looking at the aftermath of the 2021 February freeze. We have yesterday 2 of those you put together, and I wanted to ask you to start going to show right now.
So many Texans were in so many different ways. We talked yesterday about nearly 2 folks who lost their lives. That's the official count. But those families a year later, Brandi, are still fighting for, and they feel it's not about the ball, and they want accountability. And so many of them have sued the state's PCOT and some transmission companies or power retail providers, but the year later, their cases are nowhere close to a long legal road ahead. Called her Meemaw. Ann Martin had 18 grandchildren, kids.
Done everything together.
And Danny, her years.
We had it all. And then all of a sudden,
his pain runs deep 1 year later. Memories of those are cold. No power for the oxygen machine and
nobody told us it was going to last that long.
And the powerless feeling their tanks going dry.
Her biggest fear was suffocating.
Their daughter had
absolute worst fear. And then sad as that.
The Martin family, CenterPoint Energy, and ERCOT, the power grid operator. 70 claims across the state against ERCOT, transmission power providers. Those have all been consolidated to a head. Sylvia Matthews presiding. But before they can go, any legal questions must be answered, like can ERCOT
claims that they are part of the state of Texas.
Greg Cox is a court in these cases.
So their position is, since they are the they can't be sued.
It's called the sovereign or governmental, and Cox and others believe it's flawed. In the past, claimed it's not part of the state and should be shielded from open records laws.
They're chameleons. They change their stripes daily if it benefits them, and we see that quite very much frustrating and very much
An immunity battle will likely end up at the Texas Supreme Court on once before, leaving those waiting for justice.
Now I got nobody.
Waiting even. An ERCOT spokesperson told us the agency is unable to. CenterPoint Energy, meanwhile, told us, quote, "We understand the historic weather and power generation shortfall emergency of all Houstonians and Texans. While as a matter of company policy does not comment on pending litigation, we want to express our family and friends of Mrs. Martin for their loss." I'm Jeremy Rogalski, Investigates.
You even cued me, and I didn't. I turned on our mics, but didn't. That was the tag from aired last night.
Yeah. The Martin family, Danny Martin, just a heart-wrenching to hear this man, his words and his words. They did everything together, and then all of a sudden she's got a breathing machine. She had a lung condition. This family, like so many others, thought a year ago that this was only going to be an event at best. Because if you'll recall, there was no warning, a days-long ordeal. In fact, there wasn't any warning the midnight hour that there was I was going to say there wasn't even word that there was going to be rotating. And so this family believes, listen, they're claiming you should have warned us. If we were warned, we would house. Obviously, when power went out, you couldn't turn on the machine. They had some backup tanks. Those quickly ran out. And Even on the death certificate, it said the winner.
Wow. I do want to make a note. I know a lot of you are kind of through these audio issues that we're dealing with. Really appreciate you sticking with an issue, and we're going to try to get that resolved. But we want to keep having this conversation with Jeremy because there were a number. But today really is the 1-year anniversary of the failure.
It did, in fact, between about midnight and 1 a.m. a year ago, the bot grid, the reserve capacity went from dangerously close. I'm talking within minutes of the. Again, that happened between about midnight and 1:50. Woke up, and it was a downward spiral from there.
What are you working on for this evening?
So we have the loss of human life and the devastating impact that can have having for justice. Well, there's another fight going on. All those are out of their homes. This is some video of a woman in this area. Her name's Marty Hovader, and you can see the water room in her kitchen coming out of the light fixtures there. Pipe after the freeze, Brandi. She didn't have 2. She didn't have 6. She had broken pipes.
Wow.
This is where it started in the upstairs bathroom, and you can see just the sheetrock and the mess that created. So what happened? Plumber out, they'd fix 2 or 3 pipes, and then they turn the water, more would break, and then they would rinse and repeat, and by the 28 broken pipes. So she obviously files a claim, right? And a year later, she's still in that battle. The offer from the insurance company was about half of what is needed to get everything back to pre-storm conditions.
And she's not the only one. A couple weeks ago, just ahead of the last Black February, Melissa Correa spoke to Eleanor Wilson, who is probably in the next couple of weeks moving back into her house. But it was a months-long battle. She is one of the lucky ones who has the house to go back to.
And for perspective, the Texas Department of Insurance, as of like late July, but at that point they said 500,000 claims were filed in relation. About 10% of those, the last data show, are still. So if you do the quick math, and that number's probably slightly come down a little to 50,000 situations that we just saw of that woman and her home with the 28. I mean, that says it all right there. Sheetrock and insulations of mess just coming down on her bathroom. So that's a struggle, and that's real. You look outside the window today, it's 70. Many people aren't thinking anything about it, but then whose lives are still ripped apart a year later.
Can folks watch this story?
So you can see that full piece tonight at 10. Should mention at 6 o'clock, we're following the money trail on the campaign trail. And hiring the race for governor has a lot to do with which candidate's benefiting the most. Is it Governor Abbott? Is it O'Rourke? How do those campaign war chests stack up against stuff? That's at 6.
It's really easy to follow everything that the kid is doing. If you go to khou.com, right at the top, there's a tab that says in that, watch all of the stories that were done yesterday and then that are set to air today. Jeremy, thank you for your. Anything else you wanted to add?
Stay tuned and tune in.
There's a lot.
Yes, indeed.
You can follow us always on